So this is my second book, Leading on the Edge, the bold art of being more irrational and less mediocre. It was really exciting writing this book, and I think the topic is also exciting. The topic is boldness again. Whoever read my first book, Bold Reinvented, know that I speak about boldness. However, in that first book, I spoke about the awareness of boldness, so how we can increase our own awareness around the fact that we're all bold as leaders. But this one is actually pulling us into action, because we could be deepening our awareness forever. Unless we take some actions, no change is ever going to happen. And the reason why I wrote this book is because I listen to many leaders' stories. I work with organizational leaders. I listen to their stories, and I actually hear so often that they choose a safe path as opposed to a very exciting but risky path. So they give up on their visions, on their dreams, on the change that are capable of creating for the sake of staying in their comfort zones and potentially trading off the contribution that they could be making with the comfort that they have created for themselves. And I personally believe that is a great way to stay mediocre and never actually tap into your extraordinary leadership. Now, this book is not just philosophical, if you like, it's actually very practical. It's divided into 3 parts. The world on the edge, in which we get to know our own context, that's inviting us to create change. Then leadership on the edge, what are the patterns that we choose when we're not ready to lead on the edge, and what's the cost of that? And also, how often do we ask ourselves, who would want to be led by me and why? And the third part of this book is called Daring on the Edge, which pulls us into action, where I give actually some practical steps on how we can come up with our bold ideas, not give up on them, but actually bring them in our world for the sake of extraordinary leadership and extraordinary world. I think in today's world, we need to raise our own awareness of our boldness potential. We should not leave it dormant, because our world will suffer the most. We're all inherently bold. We don't all choose to follow that path, but when we don't, we actually waste our own potential. Some boats only come once, so it's really worth raising your own awareness around what's the change that only you can make and what's needed for you to take the first step. This second book means a lot because I believe I have been walking on the edge and leading on the edge for so many years. As somebody who has had a very abrupt ending of my corporate career, and then for almost 15 years challenging the big organization, suing the big organization if you like, just walking this edge in a very demanding legal system, but never giving up. So in other words, not embracing the power by role, but actually embracing the power within and my own sense of agency that I can do something about what I don't feel is right in this world. So in that sense, this book means a lot to me. I think I'm an edge walker, whether I like it or not, but I really do feel that that's very much aligned with my values, with my integrity, with who I am. And I honestly believe that is the only way to lead. So why I particularly like this book, because it includes the foreword and the story by Mel Young, an extraordinary leader who just could not normalize homelessness in this world. So whoever perhaps watched the Netflix film, The Beautiful Game, that's one of the ways how to be inspired by Mel's story. Another way is to actually pick up this book and read the interview I had with Mel. Mel is the co-founder of Homeless World Cup Foundation, but Mel in fact is a leader on the edge that simply decided we cannot tolerate homelessness, let's do something to help eliminate homelessness. So this is the person who's, together with his partner at the time, simply decided to say, let's create a World Football Cup where we will invite homeless people to play as national teams. Can you imagine how bold that idea is? And can you imagine how irrational it might have sounded to some other people whom he might have approached and saying, we need some help, we need some sponsorship. But he did not give up on that idea. And for the past 2 decades, that organization lives and works and saves lives. His story in this book is a great inspiration for anyone who's thinking, is my idea too bold and should I give up on it? never do so. And Mel is a living proof that that can create meaningful life, meaningful context, and real change in our environment.